recording.
Hare Krishna, welcome everyone.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranams.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranam, all
Prabhuji.
glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat
Hare Krishna
Pranams.
Prabhu,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranams.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat
Hare
Pranams.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Thank-
Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranams, yeah.
Dandavat Pranam.
After a long time, we're coming together. It's so nice, right?
Yes.
Yes. And we had, I think, a nice break, and now we're in Kartik. Kartik is such an auspicious month, and we're all getting the opportunity to now study the Nectar of Devotion, go deep into the Nectar of Devotion. So this is actually my favorite book, I must say, the Nectar of Devotion. Among all the books that we study, this is the most wonderful in so many, all of them are most wonderful, but this is so wonderful in so many respects. So I hope you also enjoy this, take advantage of this to your heart's satisfaction. And let's see, sorry. And as we do, we will start with prayers to the spiritual master. And then after that, we'll get into the Nectar of Devotion. I will we'll be covering the overview and the preface today of the Nectar of Devotion. So it's the first chapter, but the preface is very important. Normally, preface in a book is very short, and you can skip it. But in this case, the Nectar of Devotion preface is very significant. Om Jnanam Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadammayam Tadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanustate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. Sorry. So, the Nectar of Devotion, the complete science of Bhakti Yoga. As I mentioned, today we will cover the preface and the overview. So, tell about the importance, the value of a book, and we're starting with this. What is a central place of this book in our tradition, and also of Rupa Goswami. We'll also be talking about Rupa Goswami because in the preface, Srila Prabhupada spends most of the preface talking about the life and teachings of Rupa Goswami. In 1933, at Srila Prabhupada's initiation, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati instructed him to study this book, Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu, the law book on devotional service. So this is written in Prabhupada Dada Damodar. Prabhupada, when the Nectar of Devotion was published, for the first time was brought to him, then Srila Prabhupada took the book in his hand and he raised it high and he looked at all the devotees. I think this was in Los Angeles, in New Dwarka Temple. And he said, this is a law book of the Krishna consciousness movement. He said, this book is a law book of the Krishna consciousness movement. So a law book means the book that you go back to, that you refer to at every occasion. So that's called the law book of the Krishna consciousness movement. So it states what is our principles, what is our all of our key practices, and you'll see that it's very much like that. Very very juicy in nature, a lot of mellow, but also very systematic. It mentions the 64 items of devotional service, like a law book. People generally don't read a law book because it's so detailed. And so Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu, when describing the principles of devotional life and also describing all the different rasas, is very detailed. And this is why Srila Prabhupada actually was so merciful to us, as he always is, right? He comes to our rescue. And he wrote the Nectar of Devotion, which is the summary study of the book called Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu. It's a summary of that book. Furthermore, the Nectar of Devotion is divided into parts. And the first part is the most important for us, the Eastern wave. And that's the part that we study in depth. So this is explained in the title of Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu. The objectives of this today's discussion itself is the title of the book, Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu. We will discuss the significance of Srila Rupa Goswami, as I mentioned. And we'll also identify Prabhupada's purposes in writing the Nectar of Devotion and discuss their relevance. So what was Srila Rupa Goswami's purpose in writing it? What's his significance? And what's Srila Prabhupada's purpose in writing the Nectar of Devotion, which is a translation / summary study of the Nectar of Devotion of Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu. So lesson 1, entering the Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu. So we look at the title to begin with. What is this title? Bhakti means devotion. Rasa means mellow, relationship. Amrita means nectar or eternal. Amrita, right? Amrita means nectar. Sindhu means an ocean. So in Sanskrit, when you have a samasa, then you start from the end and you work your way back. So this is the Sindhu, the ocean of the nectar of the mellow of devotion. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Such a beautiful name, right? The ocean of the nectar, or you could say the ocean of the eternal mellows of devotion, right? So this is the mellow, the nectarian mellow of devotion, but not just the nectarian mellow, but the ocean of the nectarian mellow of devotion. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Krishna's pastimes are like an ocean, and the devotees of the Lord are like fishes that sharks that swim very deep in that ocean. And he says that in his commentary in the Srimad Bhagavatam, he says that if we can get even one drop of this ocean, right? If we experience or taste even a drop of this ocean of devotion, then that happiness, that mellow, that spiritual experience will be so great that it'll be like nothing we've experienced before. It'll be so great that we won't be able to handle it. It'll be too much, more than what we can handle. Just a drop, imagine. And the devotees are diving deep into this ocean. The devotees are constantly relishing this ocean of devotion. And that's why you see the devotees are not envious of anyone. They're not jealous of anyone. They're not jealous, especially of the materialists, of the mundane materialists, because they are convinced through a practical experience that they have the best thing. There's nothing more in this world that they want to aspire for. Material society, friendship, and love is there, but this is so much deeper. This is so much more wonderful. This is so much more eternal and expansive, so much more unlimited. And that is the nectar of devotion. Prabhupada summarizes this title into 3 words. Well, 2 words with little small words in between. The nectar of devotion. So in a lecture, Srila Prabhupada explains this title. The Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu, the Sanskrit word, we have shortcut the translation, nectar of devotion, right? So he removes the ocean part because it's a title of a book, and people, if there's a long title, people sometimes don't pick it up. He wanted this book for mass distribution. We distribute it on the street to someone with a cigarette in their mouth, right? How merciful Srila Prabhupada is. This most confidential nectar of devotion, the ocean of nectar of devotion, he's giving it to someone on the street. So he's also giving a title that's accessible. Rupa Goswami's purpose is to present the ocean of Bhakti Rasa. Rasa means mellow, the juice. It is just like ocean. This ocean has limitation, but that is unlimited. So an ocean is so big, right? We all know, like, there's no end to the Pacific Ocean. But Prabhupada is saying that even if you compare it to this ocean that we know of, and the scariest experience that you can have in your life is to take a vessel, a ship, and go to the middle of the ocean. I remember we took a ferry or something from the tip of Florida to Keys. It's a national park. And it's only like 20, 30 miles into the ocean, that island. And at a certain point, it was just like, if this ship sinks, no one's even going to notice. Like, you're just like a speck. And this isn't the main ocean. This is just like a Gulf type ocean, a small, little ocean. The ocean is literally unlimited. But Prabhupada is saying, but this ocean still has a limit. Our material ocean has a limit. But the ocean of devotion is unlimited. How wonderful it is, right? How amazing it is. How unlimited it must be. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu compared bhakti to a great ocean. When he was speaking before Rupa Goswami, he said that it is just like an ocean. So I'll take a drop of it, and you taste it, and you'll understand what is this ocean. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described a small portion of Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu. Bhakti, devotional service, there is rasa, taste, and the taste is amrita, eternal. It's so wonderful, isn't it? Prabhupada, the way he speaks is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described a small portion of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhakti, devotional service, there is taste, rasa, and that taste is eternal, amrita. Our material tastes, our material, things, relationships are so temporary. And this is so wonderful that it's eternal. And this point about the drop I was mentioning, here Prabhupada is mentioning, that it's an ocean, I'll just take a drop of it. We don't even need the whole ocean, right? We sometimes think, yesterday we were discussing some of the pastimes of Krishna with, Damodar Leela, right? It's Kartik month. And some people were thinking, well, maybe, we should be Mother Yashoda, or we should be Nanda Maharaj, and, can we be that, or can we not be that? But even, of course we cannot. We never think that way, because we want to be the servant of the servant of the servant, 1,000 times removed. But the point is that even if we're aspiring for bliss, even if we just take a drop of it, one small drop, we're just, and then that discussion also came up yesterday, like, even the milk in the pot is a living entity in the spiritual world and is boiling over out of separation from Krishna. Even if we're just the milk, we get so much ecstasy, and we cannot imagine that in this world. We get so much bliss that we just feel there can be nothing better in the world. We wouldn't take any other position other than being Mother Yashoda's boiling milk that boils over. We wouldn't take any other position than being a cow or a calf in Vrindavan, or being a cowherd boy in Vrindavan, or being one of the small assistants of the assistants of the gopis in Vrindavan. So we just need a drop of it, or even forget being in Vrindavan, just to hear about the pastimes, just to relish them in this world. If we truly are relishing them, that by itself will be enough to fully satisfy the self eternally, Amrita, eternally. Every service has some attractive feature which drives the servitor progressively on and on. That force which drives the philanthropist, the householder, and the nationalist is called rasa, or a kind of mellow relationship whose taste is very sweet. So Prabhupada is saying that everything in this world has some rasa. And because we get some rasa at home, we work so hard for our home. The householder goes and gets a job, makes so many different arrangements and schemes to secure the money to support his family. Why? Because there's a rasa, a mellow there, a relationship. The nationalist gives his life for his country, lays down his life in battle, because there's a rasa there. The philanthropist gives everything he has in charity, because there's a rasa there, a relationship. A relationship is at the heart of everything in this world. It is the key to all factors in this world. If someone has a relationship, they feel connected. And this is in the material context, right? Every service has some attractive feature which drives the servitor on progressively. The same is true in the spiritual context. So Prabhupada discussed in general. Now he's taking each word and he's analyzing it. So he's analyzing rasa. The rasa in this world is chapala sukha. The relish or taste of mundane rasa does not long endure. Chapala sukha. And I'm not very old, but a little old, right? And I'm very old, actually. We're all close to death. So but I'm saying I'm not like someone who can say I have so much experience in life. But one thing that we all experience is, especially as we age, we realize it's so temporary, right? It's just like it was like a flash. Half of my life is gone, and it's a flash. So many years of my life are gone. It's a flash. So this chapala sukha, it's so flickering. And bhoga tyaga, there's a position of alternating sense enjoyment and renunciation. Bhoga, we're enjoying, and then we enjoy, like yesterday, we were eating dinner, and then after that you eat too much, and they're like, oh, I really shouldn't have eaten it. And then there's enjoyment, and then there's renunciation. This is the mundane rasa. It has these two qualities. It's chapala sukha and it's bhoga tyaga. We enjoy and we renounce, enjoy and renounce. Bhakti rasa, however, the mellow relished in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, does not finish with the end of life. It continues perpetually and is therefore called Amrita, that which does not die but exists eternally. So unlike the Chapala Sukha material life, this rasa is Amrita. So now he's working on the second word, that when you take the rasa and you make it eternal, that is Bhakti rasa. It does not die. It always continues with us, life after life. That Bhakti continues with us like a friend, and it guides us closer and closer to Krishna. Okay, something got deleted here. Sorry. Okay, sorry about this. One slide got deleted. And this one is Sindhu, right? Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu. And that is the ocean of the mellows of devotion. So now after explaining what is this book, Nectar of Devotion, Srila Prabhupada now begins to speak of the author, right? The purpose of a preface is to tell us what is the contents of the book, and that is, that is there in the title. It's packaged there in the title. And the second purpose is to tell us a little bit about the author of the book. So these here are the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. The 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan were manjaris. They were assistants to the gopis. They were assistants to Srimati Radharani, to Lalita Sakhi, to Vishaka Sakhi. So these manjaris, they know all the intimate pastimes of Krishna, sometimes even more than the gopis. They have purview, they have access to the most intimate rasas of Krishna, his pastimes, his relationships, because the gopis are oftentimes around the same age as Srimati Radharani. They are, they're her friends, and Krishna is the supreme lover, right? He's the most, he's the beloved. And so Srimati Radharani, in front of the gopis, she sometimes feels a little shy, embarrassed to speak with Krishna in different ways, to exchange different gestures of love, because her friends are there. The other gopis are there. However, the manjaris, they are the assistants of the gopis, and they are like 5-year-old girls, 4 or 5-year-old girls. They're even younger than the gopis. The gopis are like 8 and 9, something like that. I can't exactly remember, but it's described. They're slightly older, but the manjaris are literally children. They're small girls. They're 4 to 5 years old. And so Krishna and Srimati Radharani have no inhibition in front of them. And so that's why the manjaris, they witness all of Krishna's pastimes, because they're assistants, right? In a pastime, you need someone to, give you this and that and all these things. Like, a president, right? Let's say President Biden, he is having a top secret conversation with, the president of Japan, let's say, be a little less political here. I was going to say Russia or Ukraine, but that's too much. So he's having a meeting with the president of Japan, and it's top secret. No one can hear it, right? But he might have an assistant there who's running the Zoom for him, right? Like we would do that for our Guru Maharaj. He would have this very, confidential high-level meeting for the GBC. None of the senior devotees could attend it. They're so much closer to Guru Maharaj, but the assistant would be there running the Zoom, and he would be attending it and hearing everything. Why? Because you need an assistant, and the assistant is simple in nature. They're tried and tested, and so they're not afraid that they're going to tell anything, because they know this is confidential, and my job here is just to run the technology. They're not evaluating it in their mind. They're just, observing, but they hear everything. The fact is, you'd hear all the details of the most confidential, GBC discussions. Similarly, the president's assistant knows all the confidential dealings, and that's how things sometimes get leaked, right? So the manjaris, they are the leakers, right? They are next to Srimati Radharani and Krishna, and they know it all, and that's why they can write it down. This is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chose Rupa Goswami as, he said, you are the writer of bhakti. And therefore we are called Rupanugas, because they, being manjaris, could access all of Krishna's pastimes and know the mellows of them. It's not ordinary to be a manjari. Their form is very simple as 5-year-old girls, but these are the greatest devotees of the Lord, the deepest devotees of the Lord. And Rupa Goswami in particular was given all the knowledge by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to fully share and disseminate the science of devotional service, of bhakti. So there's 6 Goswamis, but we're particularly known as Rupanugas because Rupa Goswami was given the empowerment by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to write the bhakti literatures. Our access to Krishna's heart, to his rasa, to his, to the moods of the spiritual world. We talked about the 5 rasas, right? That access is through Rupa Goswami. Sanatana Goswami wrote on deity worship. He was, kind of explaining Pancharatra. Jiva Goswami wrote on the philosophy, the Shat Sandarbhas. But Rupa Goswami wrote specifically on bhakti. All the Goswami's works are very essential for us. Jiva Goswami, for example, his Shat Sandarbhas. But in terms of particularly devotional service and the mellows of devotional service, Rupa Goswami is the authority. So we start off every class, we will start with a prayer to these 6 Goswamis. And in this prayer, it's not just a prayer, but it's for us, for this first class, it's also describing their amazing qualities. So we also get to know them more through this prayer. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Sadharma Sanstapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyao Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mattaliko Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Shri Sanatana Goswami, Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, the 6 Goswamis, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the 3 worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. So this is they are. Why are they coming down to this material world and writing these books? For the welfare of all human beings, for the benefit of all human beings. They're honored all over the 3 worlds, right? So the text is establishing that they have a position, they have a status that all over the 3 worlds, everyone honors them. So it's not like, well, they're honored by most people, but there's people who don't honor them. No, everyone. So why? Therefore, they're worth taking shelter of because they're absorbed in the mood of the gopis. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's gift to the entire world was that he not only gave the Yuga Dharma, which many incarnations gave over the course of many yugas, but he gave one added thing. The Yuga Dharma was chanting the holy name of Krishna, and that's the way to reach Krishna. But the added thing that he gave was that he gave that love in the mood of the gopis, in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And that is their special that is the special gift. That is the gift that is found nowhere else. Only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And how does he give it? He gives it through the Goswamis of Vrindavan. He doesn't give it directly. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not write any books. He only wrote 8 verses. But he shared us the mood of the gopis, this highest form of love which we are aspiring for. That is our aspiration, to be the servant of the gopis. Gopi bharatu das das anudas. To be the servant of the gopis, that can only be known through the books and teachings of the Goswamis of Vrindavan. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has a very wonderful bhajan in which he says, only when I will be eager to study the books of the Goswamis of Vrindavan will I be able to understand the loving reciprocation between Radha and Krishna. That is the only way. So this is why Nectar of Devotion and Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita, are such essential books, and Srila Prabhupada made them one of the 4 essential books of his movement, 4 foundational books. They wrote so many books just to establish what is real religion. Why? They were simply doing welfare activities for the people in general. Lokanam hita karunai, right? That's part of this verse. Lokanam hita, for the benefit of Lokanam, of all the people of this world. Formerly, the society was not so much degraded. As soon as you give evidence from the Vedic literature, they would accept. So these Goswamis were making research from the Vedic literature, Samaveda, Rigveda, and Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Puranas, Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam. You'll find in the Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu evidences, Nana Shastra. So the Goswamis, and in this book, Nectar of Devotion, that we will be reading, you will find verses from all the Vedas, from the Puranas, from the Mahabharata, and the Srimad Bhagavatam in particular. This is a fact, right? The Nectar of Devotion is Rupa Goswami's writing, but it is majority a compilation of verses. Compilation meaning not just put together, but Rupa Goswami saying those points not through his own words, but through the verses of these scriptures. And Prabhupada here is describing, in previous times, it used to be that if 2 people had a debate, and one person brought evidences from the scriptures and established his point, that is, won the debate, then the other side would immediately surrender. They say, yes, you're right, and my understanding was wrong, you are correct, so you are my spiritual master, you are one of my teachers. It was that simple. Like, a debate ended in a conclusion, and once the conclusion was there, the losing party would accept the winning party. And so the Goswamis were debated many times. And most of the time, they're not interested in engaging in these debates, because a devotee doesn't want to establish his correctness, his position. He's happy if someone else thinks they're better. But in service to Lord Chaitanya's movement, when an impersonalist came and said Krishna is impersonal, then to defeat the wrong philosophies, they debated. So devotee is kind to everyone, equal to everyone, but he does make judgment also, that this is right and this is wrong. So when the impersonalists came, then they debated. And every time they won the debate, because they were basing everything on the different Vedas, Puranas, Mahabharata, and Srimad Bhagavatam. Rupa Raghunatha Pade, this is the verse I was quoting. Hoibiyakuti, kabe hama boja bose, jugala piriti. When I'm eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. So our eagerness to do this study of the Nectar of Devotion will be our gateway to understanding the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. Of course, it doesn't happen overnight, even if we read the book, but it's our gateway, right? It's the beginning. And then when we practice their teachings, then gradually we become qualified to receive this transcendental knowledge. So now, who is Rupa Goswami, right? What is particularly very unique about Srila Rupa Goswami? Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, he's also called Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada means at whose feet all the Prabhus sit. So they're kind of like the masters of the masters. And Srila Prabhupada, our Srila Prabhupada, was also like that. You know, he's not just a guru, our guru, regional guru, but he is all the masters sit at his feet. He broke open the storehouse of devotion. He covered the whole world with love for Krishna. So he had the special title of Prabhupada because he started and is fulfilling a revolution, fulfilling Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction. So similarly, Rupa Goswami, because he is disseminating this highest knowledge in the world, he's known as Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya. So this is part of his pranam mantra, Rupa Goswami's pranam mantra that here we are quoting. Shri Rupa Goswami, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya. When will he give me shelter under his lotus feet? And he is Rupa Manjari. In the spiritual world, his name is Rupa Manjari. When will he give me shelter under his lotus feet? If we can only have his shelter, life would be perfect. And Srila Prabhupada said, being the representative of Rupa Goswami, he said that we are Rupanugas. Anuga means follower. So we are followers of Rupa Goswami. In the preface to this book, he says, the Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. The entire Krishna consciousness movement is based on Srila Rupa Goswami. And that's why he calls the Nectar of Devotion what? The law book of the Krishna consciousness movement. A society, a nation is conducted under the supervision of the law book, right? Its rules, its norms are based upon the laws. Similarly, if this entire movement is conducted under the supervision of Rupa Goswami, then his book becomes the law book. How? We are called Rupanuga. Anuga means following, going, following the footsteps of Rupa Goswami. So, as the Rupa Goswami is following his predecessor, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so we have to follow our predecessor. Then we will be successful. In Goloka Vrindavan, Srimati Radharani is lovingly served by 8 principal gopis, of whom Lalita Sakhi is her dearest friend. These intimate maidservants of Srimati Radhika are assisted by 8 main manjaris, with Sri Rupa Manjari being the leader. So there's 8 principal gopis, and these 8 principal gopis have 8 manjaris. So there's tens of thousands, millions of manjaris, but there's 8 that are main. And Rupa Goswami is the manjari, the assistant of Lalita Sakhi, and Lalita Sakhi is the dearest friend of Srimati Radharani. So therefore she is the leader of the manjaris. They please the sweet divine couple by carrying messages, preparing tasty beverages, stringing fragrant flower garlands, etc. So they carry the messages. So if you're the message carrier, you know what the message is. They prepare the foodstuffs, they make the flower garlands. Before creation of this cosmic manifestation, the Lord enlightened the heart of Lord Brahma with the details of the creation and manifested the Vedic knowledge. In exactly the same way, the Lord, being anxious to revive the Vrindavan pastimes of Lord Krishna, impregnated the heart of Rupa Goswami with spiritual potency. By this potency, Srila Rupa Goswami could revive the activities of Krishna in Vrindavan, activities almost lost to memory. In this way, he spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world. So, everything happens through empowerment. Brahma was empowered to create, therefore he was able to create. Rupa Goswami was empowered to write because the Lord put all of his Vrindavan pastimes in his heart. He gave him this spiritual potency. Rupa Goswami has unlimited spiritual potency. And by this potency, he's reviving Krishna's activities in two ways. One is by writing, and in the second way, he revived Krishna's activities by reviving and unveiling the lost pastime places in Vrindavan. So we go to Vrindavan, we go to Keshi Ghat and Rasamrta and all these places, Radha Kund, Sham Kund, all of these were revived, were established by the Goswamis of Vrindavan, headed by Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami is described as a Bhakti Rasacharya, or one who knows the essence of devotional service. His famous book, Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu, is the science of devotional service. And by reading this book, one can understand the meaning of devotional service. So he's the Acharya of Bhakti Rasa. Srila Prabhupada accepted sannyas on September 17th, 1959. Right? So this is now the significance of Rupa Goswami in relation to Srila Prabhupada. So he gave up everything, his family life and everything, and moved to Vrindavan on September 17, 1959. So Srila Prabhupada appeared in 1896. And so that's 65 years. He was 65 years old when he took sannyas and he came to Vrindavan. He moved to an upstairs room at the Radha Damodar temple and concentrated his energy on translating into English and purporting the Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada said, why did he move particularly to that temple and that place? Because he said, this corner at the Radha Damodar temple is just like the hub of the wheel of the spiritual world. It is the center. So he came there because from that place, you can see from the hub, from the center, like kind of from a mountain peak, you can see all of Krishna's pastimes, right? You can see the whole spiritual world. And that's where this temple is, because we know there's a Bhoma Vrindavan, and then there's a eternal Vrindavan. I'm forgetting the Sanskrit word for that. So Prabhupada was actually seeing Vrindavan Dham. When we go there, we just, see the externals. Of course, still it has such a potency, but he was, under the surface, right? He was seeing. So that place, which externally we know as Radha Damodar, it's also internally, but what we identify as a place in a map on the earth, that place is a place where Srila Prabhupada could see the entire spiritual world. I eternally reside in my rooms at the Radha Damodar temple, Srila Prabhupada said. And where is this Radha Damodar temple located? Where Srila Prabhupada's rooms located? Actually, from Srila Prabhupada's room, you can go there. When you open the window, you see Rupa Goswami's Samadhi. The place where Rupa Goswami sat, the place of Rupa Goswami's Samadhi, that is, when you open his window, directly in front his kitchen window, Prabhupada's room where he sat and took prasad and also worked often, it looks into Rupa Goswami Samadhi. Srila Prabhupada's decision to stay in the Radha Damodar Mandir was an indication of his conscious and fervent desire to live, serve, and write under the shelter of Srila Rupa Goswami, and to very practically seek his blessings for his life's mission of translating the Srimad Bhagavatam and preaching in the West. So Rupa Goswami was given the potency by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to write all the intimate pastimes of Krishna. He had all the knowledge of Bhakti, not just the intimate pastimes, but also the practice of Bhakti. And Srila Prabhupada wanted to write under the shelter of Rupa Goswami. So he was being empowered by Rupa Goswami. So here we see one time Rupa Goswami actually came. Prabhupada describes this. It's there in the Transcendental Diary, Volume 3, Chapter 4. Prabhupada never told much about himself, but somehow certain things got leaked. And, in a conversation, he mentioned something, and then devotees asked further about it. So one time, this is that place, that window I was describing. Rupa Goswami actually comes to Srila Prabhupada. And he tells Srila Prabhupada that you simply write these books. If you simply write these books, Krishna will do everything else. And he gives Srila Prabhupada empowerment. So Rupa Goswami Prabhupada was always in touch with these great souls. There's one program that he did, where was it, San Francisco or London, one of those places, and Prabhupada said, after the program, he said, did you not see Narad Muni was there? Did you not see such and such was there? But particularly during his writing time, when he wrote the first 2 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, very in-depth, very deep meditation, Prabhupada was writing at Radha Damodar, but just starting his mission. At that time, Rupa Goswami came to him and gave him his darshan. So, don't worry about anything. This is what Prabhupada said that Rupa Goswami told him. Go ahead and travel to the West and preach. Just preach the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the chanting of Hare Krishna. You'll be successful, I guarantee, because I will be right with you all the time. So this is the support, you could say, the inspiration that Rupa Goswami gave Srila Prabhupada. Don't worry about anything, just preach and you will be successful. So this is the beautiful parampara system, that everyone is under the shelter of an acharya, of someone before him, someone. So Srila Prabhupada, right? He's eternal. He's a soul coming from the spiritual world. He's eternally liberated soul, Satyavish avatar. But he is taking guidance from Rupa Goswami. So nice. The mood of submission, the mood of taking shelter of the superior is always there in our tradition. That is the end of the preface. So this is wonderful, perfect timing. This is actually the shortest of all the lessons. Next time we will start with chapter 1. But this is a perfect place to end. So I will now just stop here and we can have discussion. All of you must have some thoughts, some reflections after hearing this. Also, one thing before, just quickly, Rupa Goswami, his life is also described in the preface. And in terms of his pastimes on this earth, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami were working for the Nawab of Navadvip. No, not Navadvip, the Nawab of Puri. Where was it? And yeah, someone unmute, tell me.
Bengal, I think.
The Olive Bengal, yes. Okay. So, and they had taken that service because they're forced to. At that time, the Muslim government would force individuals to work for them. And Rupa and Sanatana Goswami were so expert in everything that they were greatly respected by everyone. And the Muslim government, they're very smart at that time. Prabhupada said that the Muslims, they ruled India for 700 years. The British ruled for only 50 years. And that's because for much of their duration, they were cooperative with the Hindus. And that's why they lasted. As soon as they got too harsh and radical, then there was revolt and the reign broke. So Prabhupada actually makes the point that when the leadership is sensitive to the people it leads, it actually lasts longer. So they were kings who were somewhat reasonable. So what they would do is they would employ Hindu ministers and governors under them because they knew that the Hindus would listen to them, right? So Rupa and Sanatana Goswami were their left and right hand person because everyone respected them. So he could get support from the general masses through Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. So it's described that Rupa Goswami had so much wealth, they were on such a high position that they had a boat full of gold, right? Solid gold. Imagine. They were they were the billionaires of their time, like Bill Gates, lest I say Elon Musk, all these billionaires. They are nothing because they had a boat full of gold. Imagine. And but they were so renounced that at home they would be reading Srimad Bhagavatam, relishing the pastimes of Krishna. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when his pastimes begin and when he comes, then they want to leave everything and leave their service and meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So on many occasions they ran away from government service and had conversations with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And these conversations are there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Like they're meeting at Ramakeli, they're meeting at other places where they discussed the science of devotional service. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally taught them. And then finally, after doing this for a few times, working in a government office became unbearable for them. They wanted to join Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu full time. And in order to do that, then they had to somehow escape from the governor because the governor wasn't going to let them go. So first Sanatana Goswami escapes, and then the Nawab imprisons Rupa Goswami, and then using the wealth that they had, Rupa Goswami bribes the guards people, and then he also escapes. And he joins Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And once they join Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whereas most of the associates traveled with him, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells them that you go to Vrindavan, and there I have great work for you to do. You write these books, you unveil the pastime places of Krishna, and that's what they did. So their life is also very, very fascinating. And in the preface, you'll find that Srila Prabhupada describes that in detail. Okay, yes. Questions, comments? Any discussion? Radhika, yes. You can unmute.
Hare Krishna. So I had some points to add.
Yes.
So my first point is that you mentioned that the three things like Bhakti is devotion, and then Rasa is like Rasamrta is like nectar, and Sindhu is ocean. So Prabhupada wrote it as Nectar of Devotion. So Manjari saw the Lord and the gopis and they are very young. Manjaris came in the form of the Goswamis to relieve everyone of the material world and take them to Krishna. They wrote so many books for the welfare of human society. In particular, Bhakti Sami Sindhu, in particular, Bhakti's Amit Sindhu was very special. It has verses from all the other Puranas. So who was Rupa Goswami? Rupa Goswami, he had established and fulfilled the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this material world. He is Rup Manjri in Golo. Srila Rup Manjri is the principal Manjri of Lalita Sakhi. So Rup means Rup Goswami and Anuga means follower. So we are
Very
the
nice.
followers of Rup Goswami. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So for those of you who are joining just now, Radhika is our official. She gives the summary and the takeaway points for everyone. So thank you very much, Radhika. Thank you very much.
Yeah, also Prabhu, I'm Hare Priya.
Oh, sorry, you're Hari Priya. That's what I was thinking. You said you're Hari Priya. Thank you, Hari Priya. Yes. Thank you so much. Salja?
Sorry, Prabhu. Okay. Haribo, thank you so much for the wonderful class. Man, it's just brilliant how much you learned about the Goswamis. I really didn't know enough. So I just wanted to, I have a comment on, I was really fascinated to see how Rupa Goswami actually empowered Srila Prabhupada. I think, you hear about these things, but also to hear from Srila Prabhupada that you actually, it's like, it's like the angels, or what do you call them? There's a certain word for it, like your guiding person, right? I forget the name, but it was fascinating to see that. So and learn about Rupa Goswami. I had not known much about the Goswamis. So thank you for sharing all the details. I did have a couple of questions, not per se related to the preface, but you mentioned that Srila Prabhupada he went to the Radha Damodar temple, right?
Yes.
Is that the current ISKCON Vrindavan, which is currently, no? Okay.
No, so the current ISKCON temple is in Rasamrta Vrindavan, and Radha Damodar temple is where the Radha Damodar deities are. The Radha Damodar is the deity of Jiva Goswami, I believe, and Radha Govinda is the deities of Rupa Goswami, which were the central deities of Vrindavan. But then, due to the Muslim invaders, they were quietly moved to Jaipur, because in Jaipur there was the Vaishnav king Maharaj Jai Singh, and that king actually became a disciple of Rupa Goswami. And you see inscribed on the Radha Govinda temple in Jaipur, Rupa Goswami's writings, him offering him obeisances, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shikshashtaka. So in Jaipur, the whole city worships Radha Govindji. Like Govindji is it's like the Tirupati of Jaipur. Everyone goes there, and they're all worshiping Rupa Goswami's deities. They're all like it's a Gaudiya Vaishnav temple. So Radha Damodar, in Radha Damodar, you find many samadhis. It's like it's really like a hub. It feels like it. Many deities, many samadhis. It's a very sacred spot in Vrindavan because all the acharyas are there. Yes.
Okay, because when I went to ISKCON Vrindavan, I know there was a little room, kind of a place where they said Srila Prabhupada lived there. Is that what it is, or?
So that's where Srila Prabhupada stayed after establishing ISKCON, right? So once he came back, he established the Krishna Balaram temple, and then his quarters are right next to the temple, and that's Srila Prabhupada's house. The very sweet place, bed there, and that's the bed he used, and the chair. So those were the years after he established Krishna Balaram temple, the ISKCON's own temple there, where Rasamrta is also, it has special significance for Krishna's pastimes. It's sometimes described as the most one of the most all of Krishna's pastimes take place in Rasamrta, most special place. But before going to the west, before any ISKCON was built or anything, Prabhupada stayed in Radha Damodar, and there's rooms there that are permanently Prabhupada's rooms. The devotees have purchased them. They're never going to change, because those are the places where Prabhupada spent years writing these books and meditating on his mission, getting inspiration from the Goswamis, seeing Rupa Goswami, and getting that preparing for his great mission.
Got it. And to see that, you have to go to the Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan.
Yes.
Then. Okay, got it. Thank you so much for clarifying that, Prabhu.
Thank you. Very
Look
nice
forward to
talk.
the next session. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Okay, very nice. So we'll end now, and next week, please read the preface this week. Next week we will start covering chapter 1 and 2. I'll see if I can do 2 chapters next week. And please, same time, same place. Look forward to your association next week. Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakti ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranams.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranams. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranams.
Hare